Hi, as you have already told, so we'll be discussing today about the adjuvant therapy in low-grade glioma. So first, to start with, whether to operate or not. In past, there were multiple controversies whether to operate or not. There are multiple papers on that, but we'll not be going into details. We'll just quote a few landmark papers regarding that. So in the Annals of Oncology 2017, there came the landmark paper written by Jacula et al. Mr. Jacula is a consultant neurosurgeon from St. Olavs University Hospital in Norway. So what they did there is, in Norway, there are two regions, in region A and in region B. In region A, for that low-grade glioma, they did watchful observation. In region B, they did early surgery. So when they compared total of 153 patients, among them 66 was from region A and around 87 patients were from region B. So the region B, there was early surgery. Region A, there was watchful observation followed by surgery. So when we have seen this, so overall survival in watchful observation group, it was 5.8 years in region A versus overall survival in region B was 14.4 years. And they found this difference to be statistically significant. So the effect of surgical strategy remained after adjustment of the molecular markers. So this is the landmark paper published in Annals of Oncology, which reasonably concluded the need for early surgery in case of low-grade gliomas. Now moving on to adjuvant therapies. There are a lot of debates and deliberation of the adjuvant regarding the adjuvant therapy in case of low-grade glioma. We'll be discussing in detail about them. So first, there is this group, EORTC group. They did a randomized controlled trial regarding the efficacy of early versus delayed radiotherapy in low-grade astrocytoma oligodendroglioma. It was published in Lancet 2005. The trial run under the name of EORTC 22845. It is a landmark trial. So what they did is, it is basically an European group of radiation oncologists who did this trial. So what they did, so after surgery of astrocytoma oligodendroglioma, oligoastrocytoma, and some case of incomplete resected pilocytic astrocytoma they have taken. And they have divided them into two groups. One, early radiotherapy. Second group is delayed radiotherapy. Now, in case of early radiotherapy, that means irrespective of the extent of resection, immediately after surgery, they have administered radiotherapy in these three conditions, like astrocytoma, oligoastrocytoma, oligodendroglioma, and some incomplete resected pilocytic astrocytoma. So what they have found is progression-free survival. So median progression-free survival in early radiotherapy group was 5.3 years versus in delayed radiotherapy group it was 3.4 years. Although it looks like that early radiotherapy may be beneficial, but overall survival, if you see in both the groups, that are 7.4 years versus 7.2 years. So if you see here that overall survival did not differ much between the two groups, and this 2 months of difference was not statistically significant. However, progression-free survival was more in early radiotherapy group as compared to delayed radiotherapy group. So based on that, it was concluded that in case of early radiotherapy, immediate after and post-op radiotherapy, there is a case of lead time bias. So here if you see, here if the patient get diagnosed with cancer, here the patient makes it right that the patient dies. So this is the overall survival, which remains same in both the groups. Now, if immediately after surgery you give upfront radiotherapy, so the progression-free survival is longer, that is 5.3 years. Now, if you give delayed radiotherapy, the progression-free survival is less, 3.4 years. But overall survival remains the same. So in a way, we can tell that giving radiotherapy can delay the progression of low grade to high grade transformation, but does not change the overall survival. So that was the debate which was reliably answered by the EORTC 22845 trial, whereas early radiotherapy versus delayed radiotherapy, there was no significant improvement in overall survival, but however, progression-free survival was better in early radiotherapy group. Now moving on to choice of chemotherapies. So as we are discussing, if radiotherapy alone will suffice or radiotherapy along with any chemotherapy will be required. So to answer that, RTOG group, it is radiotherapy in oncology group. It is an American group. They came up with RTOG 9802 trial. In this eligibility criteria was so supratentorial WHO grade 2, low grade gliomas. So age should have been 18 to 39 with subtotal resection, 40 or more with any extent of resection. So now what they did is, in the study group, it was randomized into two arms. One is radiotherapy alone. Second one is radiotherapy plus chemotherapy. In RTOG group, the American groups, they are believer in PCV regime. So procarbazine, lomustine, and vincristine. So with them, 6 cycles. So at the end of the study, they found out that median overall survival in case of RT alone was 7.5 years. But in case of radiotherapy with chemotherapy, it could not be reached because it was too high and the follow-up, it exceeded their period of follow-up. So in any cancer trial, the best outcome is when overall survival could not be assessed because of the longer survival of the participants in the study. So this is the best possible outcome. So overall survival with RT and chemotherapies could not be reached. Now if you see 5-year Overall survival. In RT, it was 70, only RT, it was 63%, versus in RT plus CT, it was 72%. So this was also significantly higher. And the patients who were taking RT and CT, their hazard ratio as compared to the RT alone was 0.72. This was also high. Now, if we see one more important indicator, progression-free survival. So median progression-free survival was also significantly different in both the groups. So if you see, in case of RT, it was 4.4 years, and in case of CT, it could not be reached again. Because of the high survival. Now, 5-year progression-free survival was 46% in RT group, whereas 63% in case of RT plus PCV group. Based on that, they have concluded that adding RT with CT in the form of PCV provided significant survival benefit. In case of low-grade glioma, in case of mentioned criteria. So as you have seen, RTOG 9802 trial, it is basically an American group. Eligibility was WHO grade 2, supratemporal low-grade glioma, 18 to 39 with subtotal resection each, and more than 40 years with any extent of resection. And they have randomized into RT alone and RT plus CT alone. In both the groups, as we have compared, the 5-year survival overall and 5-year progression-free survival was significantly better in RT plus CT group, whereas overall survival was so high in radiotherapy plus chemotherapy group that it could not be reached, and progression-free survival was also so high that it could not be reached in RT plus CT group because of the limited follow-up. So based on this trial, we have reasonably concluded that adjuvant RT plus CT is superior to RT alone in case of low-grade gliomas. So now there are various prognostic models that has been developed over a period of time. So one similar landmark paper came in way back in 2002. It was published in Journal of Clinical Oncology by Francesco Pignatti. So Francesco Pignatti, he is a member of EORTC group, EORTC brain tumor group, again European group. So in the way back in 2002, they have concluded the 4 prognostic factors of low-grade gliomas. They have discerned 5 prognostic factors. If age is more than 40 years, largest tumor diameter, is more than 6 centimeter, and if the histocytoma, histopathology is astrocytoma, if the tumor crosses midline or the bihemispheric, lastly, if there is neurologic deficit before surgery. So these were the 4 prognostic factors. Based on that, they have divided these patients into two groups. One is low risk group, and then there is high risk group. So low risk, if there are two or less of these factors are present. High risk groups, if there is three or more risk factors are present. So the poor prognostic factors are age more than 40 years, largest tumor diameter more than 6 centimeters, astrocytoma histology, and tumor crossing the midline with neurotoxics before surgery. To take the discussion further, that again the URTC group did a statistical uh, analysis. So if we see that prognostic factors in the URTC group and RTOG group, we have seen in the RTOG 9802 trial, they have defined as criteria for chemotherapy being radiotherapy plus chemotherapy being low-grade glioma of age between 18 to 39 with subtotal resection is the RTOG criteria, or more than 40 with any extent of resection. But again, just now we have seen it is RTOG in 2005 based on 9802 trial. Similarly, this URTC, as you have seen that Francisco Pinati, in 2000, way back in 2002, he has given all the 5 criteria. So there was continuous debate to look for what are the actual group. I mean, what is the actual risk factor? How do you stratify all the low-grade gliomas? What are the actual risk factors of the patient being in low risk, intermediate risk, or high risk? So to answer that, URTC group again, the Thierry, Gorilla, and group has taken up the statistical model so that they could predict the outcomes, and they could stratify the different low-grade glioma patients based on their characteristics. So if you see Dr. Gorilla, so Dr. Gordia is basically a statistician in URTC group. And Dr. Martin, he was the head researcher in URTC brain tumor group. So they have defined a statistical model. So here they have they try to find a midway between them. So so if you have seen that 18 to 39 with subtotal resection, or more than 40 with any extent of resection as per the RTOG guideline. And in URTC, age more than 40 years, more than 6 centimeter tumor, crossing midline, focal neurologic deficit, and astrocytoma. So they proposed that low risk, low grade gliomas as defined by RTOG 9802. So low risk, low grade gliomas as defined by the RTOG 9802 would be then age less than 40 years with gross total resection. But some of these patients may carry the risk factors as described in URTC group. So those patients who can be further stratified into different risk categories. So overall survival of those patients carrying the URTC group risk factors will bear a potentially worse prognosis. So based on that, they have proposed a group called intermediate. Grade gliomas. So what are the intermediate grade gliomas? Low risk, low grade glioma as per RTOG or URTC with size of more than 5 centimeter or any non-oligodendroglial gliomas, non-ODG tumors. These are the intermediate risk gliomas. So based on this model, we can stratify the worst to best, high risk, low grade gliomas, followed by intermediate risk, low grade gliomas, followed by low risk, low grade gliomas. So survival will be significantly better in case of low grade, low risk gliomas as compared to intermediate grade and high grade gliomas. There are various tools available. Similar tool is available in the URTC website. So URTC Belgium website. If you found, go to the tools, there is low grade glioma calculator. So if you put various variables there, like diagnosis, whether it is oligoastrocytoma or oligodendroglioma or a astrocytoma, number one. Number two, time since first symptoms. If it is less than 30 weeks or more than 30 weeks, or presence of neurological deficits. These can be classified into one equal to no deficit, two is equal to some deficit, but patient can perform useful work. And neurodeficit grade 3 is moderate functional impairment. That is able to move with difficulty. Other speech disturbance, dysphasia, any paresis, any apraxia, or memory impairment. Grade 4 is major functional impairment. Like inability to move, hemiplegia, aphasia, gross speech difficulty, or any visual impairment. Where grade 5 is terminal or unconscious. So all this group they have defined. So basically there are, we just take into consider there is no deficit or some mild deficit, whether the patient can consider can carry on useful work, or whether the patient has moderate, major, or terminal deficits. So based on these three, and again the tumor size less than 5 centimeter, more than 5 centimeter. So this size is different in various studies, but finally after all those meta-analysis, and regression analysis, they have concluded that tumor size less than and more than 5 centimeters are significant. And then treatment. Based on these risk factors, whether early RT should be early was given or a delayed RT. So based on that, so whether the diagnosis being astrocytoma or oligoastrocytoma or oligodendroglial tumors, whether the time since the first symptom to the enrollment in this trial, presence of neurodeficit and tumor size more than 5, less than 5 centimeter, or more than 5 centimeter, and mode of radiotherapy, is early radio or delayed radio was given. Based on that, and they could reliably calculate that prognosis, like median progression-free survival, then progression-free survival at 3 years, then median overall survival, then overall survival at 5 years, and they could stratify whether it is low risk, intermediate risk, or high risk. So all of you who are interested can go back and go to the website directly, urtc.be tools. So from there they could calculate exact prognostic factors and exact progression-free and median overall survival for those patients according to these characteristics. Now moving on. There was again one landmark trial, CATNON trial. This is one of those trials regarding which you should have adequate knowledge and information. So basically, CATNON trial was a URTC group trial. Again, if you see, is Martin J. Vandenwent. He's from the URTC group, that is the European group. So, as we have already discussed, that there are two groups in brain tumor glioma research in case of low-grade gliomas mainly. One is RTOG group, one is URTC group. The RTOG group is an American group. They basically believes in PCV regime, whereas the URTC group, that is European group, they basically believes in temozolomide regime. However, there are some overlaps that we'll discuss, but this is the crux of all these studies. So, in this CATNON trial, they tried to investigate. So it is a URTC group. So role of temozolomide in case of 1p19q non-codeleted anaplastic gliomas. So role of temozolomide in 1p19q non-codeleted anaplastic gliomas. So what is this? As I have already discussed, it is a URTC group study. It is a phase 3. So phase 3 means more than 100 samples, less than 1000, and it should essentially compare two treatment arms. So these phase 3 studies should have can have multiple treatment arms, and in each arm patients will be randomized and recruited. So basically it is a phase 3, as I've already discussed, is a randomized open label. There was no blinding done, so it is an open label trial. So it is an RTOG trial, sorry, URTC trial. So eligibility was age more than 18 years, newly diagnosed, 1p19q non-codeleted. Okay, so 1p19q non-codeleted, performance status 0 to 2, as we have already discussed previously. So age more than 18, newly diagnosed 1p19q non-correlated tumors, performance status 0 to 2. So they have randomized into 4 arms. So what they have randomized them to? First, one arm was RT only. Second arm was RT followed by adjuvant CT. Third arm was RT plus concurrent CT. And fourth arm was RT plus concurrent CT plus adjuvant CT. So what is the difference between an adjuvant CT and a concurrent chemotherapy? So concurrent chemotherapy is when the chemotherapy is administered at the same time with RT, and adjuvant therapies when the chemotherapy is administered after finishing the RT. So now in this regime, they have given 59.4 grays in 33 fraction, 1.8 grays per fraction. That is a standard protocol. In case of adjuvant CT, they have given 12 of these 4-week cycles of temozolomide at a dose of 150 to 200 mg per square meter on of body surface area on day 1 to day 5, like this 12 cycles. And in case of concurrent, they have given 75 mg per square meter per day during RT. And in case of combined group, they have given all three together. So the result of this interim analysis was published in Lancet 2017. So what they have found? So hazard ratio of patient with RT plus CT in any form was 0.65, and these were statistically significant. So that means the patients who are receiving RT and CT are less likely to die over a same period of time as compared to the patients who are receiving RT only. So survival benefit of TMZ was proven. So if you see the overall survival, so 5-year overall survival of RT plus CT was 55% versus RT alone 44%. This is RT in adjuvant form, and this RT plus CT, whether adjuvant or concurrent or both were given, that was not disclosed. So so chemotherapy in any form would have a better survival than radiotherapy alone. That was the crux of this study. Side effect was, major side effect was mainly hematological, which was reversible in most of the cases. So to conclude that CATNON trial is a URTC group trial. It was published in Lancet 2017. So role of temozolomide in 1p19q non-correlated anaplastic gliomas. So basically it is a phase 3 randomized open label trial. Eligibility being age more than 18 years, newly diagnosed 1p19q non-correlated lesions, and performance status 0 to 2. So it was randomized into RT alone or RT with adjuvant and concurrent therapy in their various combinations. So hazard ratio was less in case of RT plus CT group as compared to RT alone group, and 5 years survival was better in case of radiotherapy and chemotherapy group, whereas hematological adverse effects was the main adverse effect, which is reversible. So now carrying the discussion forward, there was one more landmark study. It was published in International Journal of Radiation Oncology. RTOZ 0424 trial. The main chief investigator was Dr. Barbara Fisher. She's a Canadian. So basically RTOG group study. So it was a phase 2 trial. So the sample size may be around 100 or less than 100. It was a single arm. So that phase 2 single arm trial. So the inclusion criteria was low-grade glioma with 3 or more risk factors. Performance status more than 1. Age more than 40 years. Size more than 6 centimeters. Astrocytoma histology and bihemispheric tumor. So basically, if you see there in URTC group, they have concluded the significant difference in size should be 5 to discern between the high grade and high risk and low risk or low grade gliomas. But in the RTOG group, there is American group, the cutoff is 6 centimeters. So this is a statistical difference. There's a significant difference between these two study groups. Otherwise, overall the risk factor patterns remains the same. So in that RTOG 0424 trial, the treatment protocol was RT was given as 54 grays in 30 fraction. With temozolomide with 12 cycles of post-RT temozolomide. So basically 54 gray 30 fraction radiation therapy with concurrent temozolomide with adjuvant temozolomide. So there was no control group in this study. What are the results? Three-year overall survival was 73% and median overall survival was 8 years. Now if you see the historical control, it was 3-year overall survival in historical control in this group was 54%, so which was statistically better. Now if we see the progression-free survivals and overall survival, so 5-year progression-free survival was around 47%. Same over a period of 10 years was 25%. Overall survival of 5 years was 60%, whereas in 10 years it was 34%. So it proven the efficacy of temozolomide in addition to RT in concurrent and adjuvant mode to be significantly better than historical control, that is RT alone. So as with PCV, that RTOG group was describing previously, in same group, that 0424 trial also has concluded that addition of temozolomide in the chemotherapy regime along with radiotherapy improves the outcome significantly as compared to radiotherapy alone. So this study result was just published in the International Journal of Radiation Oncology, Biology and Physics in 2020. Barbara Fisher is Dr. Barbara Fisher is the chief investigator. So these are the results. So now, as we have already described the various treatment options, various chemotherapy options. So now there is a debate regarding which therapy to be administered along with RT. So what we have discussed so far is RT is essential. We have discussed the debates regarding upfront RT or after watchful observation administering RT. Now we have seen RT plus CT, that is RT plus chemotherapy is better than radiotherapy alone. Now we have both options, whether to give the PCV alone, or whether to give PCV and whether to give temozolomide. Now the current ongoing debate is whether to give PCV regime or to give temozolomide in all these cases. So now to understand, now to answer this question, will be see the pros and cons of both. Why RT is preferred in some studies and why temozolomide is preferred in some studies. First, we will talk about PCV some studies and some temozolomide some studies. Now, first we'll talk about the PCV regime. So, as we have seen, there was one similar trial by RTOG group, RTOG 9402. In this, they have seen that after addition of PCV regime, the median overall survival was 4.6 years in case of RT plus CT or in case of RT alone. There was no significant difference. But when they found out that the subgroup analysis, that is, they took into consideration that 1p19q co-deletion status, there they found significant statistical difference. So RT plus PCV, overall survival, so median overall survival was 14 years, whereas RT alone, it was 7 years. Similar, one more study by URTC group, 26951 trial. In this RT plus PCV, overall survival was so high that it could not be reached. Whereas in case of RT alone, it was merely 9 years. So we could see that the findings in both the studies were pretty much similar. So now there is one more trial. There is a German trial. It is NOAH-04 trial. In this trial, all anaplastic gliomas were taken into consideration. And patients were first given RT in one group. One group patient was given chemotherapy initially. Chemotherapy, maybe with temozolomide or PCV, randomly was given. And once the patient recurred, the RT group following recurrence received chemotherapy, and chemotherapy group on recurrence received RT. So in those, they did a subgroup analysis with 1P 19Q co-deleted patients. Here they have seen the temozolomide versus PCV. Here they have found a drastic significant statistical difference of temozolomide group. The progression-free survival was 4.4 years, whereas in the PCV group it was 9.4 years. And median overall survival in case of temozolomide group, it 8 years, but in case of PCV, it was very high, so it could not be reached. So based on that, they have concluded that in case of 1P19 to co-related PCV is better in RT. There was also multiple reports conferring that doubts over temozolomide alone. So in a landmark paper, Johnson et al. They proposed that the patient who has received temozolomide initially presents with recurrent high-grade recurrent glioma. They have an aggressive genetic signature. In the form of aberration in retinoblastoma pathway, AKT pathway, and mTOR pathway. So this is the only one isolated study which hinted at that genetic alteration induced by the temozolomide chemotherapy, giving rise to poor prognostic outcome in case of recurrent lesions. The patient who have received temozolomide in the first place. So this group, there are debates in favor of PCV regime in case of low-grade glioma as a mode of adjuvant therapy. So RTOG 9402 trial, whereas PCV had a PCV plus RT had a better outcome than RT alone. It was similarly it was seen by URTC trials, and in case of NOVA4 trial, it was indirectly they have compared temozolomide with PCV, which has found statistically significant survival benefit of PCV over temozolomide. However, very few studies have found this, and this study is not free from the shortcomings. And Johnson et al. In a unique paper proposed or hinted at the more aggressive genetic signature in the patients with who have received a temozolomide therapy initially and presents with recurrence at a later date. So now to continue the discussion, what is the debate in favor of temozolomide as a radiotherapy regime? Most of those ODGs are very chemosensitive. But problem with the main discussion of PCV efficacy versus temozolomide safety. As you see here, PCVs are administered highly IV. So administration is a problem. Second, there are multiple adverse effects with procarbazine. It causes severe nausea, anorexia, and skin reactions in the form of Steven Johnson's toxic epidermal necrolysis, all those things. So these, whereas lomustine, it causes bone marrow suppression, and vincristine causes peripheral neuropathies. So all these taken together, the cumulative toxicity, systemic toxicity is very high. So much so that both the trials, which have demonstrated higher efficacy of PCV, as higher efficacy of PCV, like in RTOG 9802 or URTC 26951 trials, all of them, there was significant dropout from the PCV chemotherapy regime because of these adverse effects. So safety profile is definitely a question. So this debate is currently ongoing. However, other studies have found both PCV and temozolomide almost equally sensitive and almost equally effective. But there was no study as of now, which is no randomized control study as of now, which is reported and which is examined PCV, that is versus temozolomide head to head. But currently, we have an ongoing trial, it is a CODEL trial, which is comparing these two treatment modalities head to head. We're awaiting the results. So in the next section, we'll see some brief points about the CODEL trial. So to answer the long-standing debate of RT alone or RT with temozolomide alone or RT plus PCV, the CODEL trial is ongoing. But initially, the trial started somewhat differently. It was a phase 3 randomized study. So with a large sample size, obviously. So it was initially started open label randomized controlled trial, and it was phase 3. So it was initially started to compare RT or RT versus RT plus temozolomide versus temozolomide only. Now in the interim analysis, which was published in Neurology 2016. So it is a phase 3 trial. So interim results has to be published, and those has to be reported to the regulatory authorities. So based on their findings, they found that temozolomide alone had shorter progression-free survival than RT. So since it was clearly demonstrated that temozolomide alone cannot be effective, so the temozolomide was omitted. Alone therapy was omitted. So they have rewritten the protocol again in 2016. Currently, they have decided to compare RT with PCV head to head. RT with adjuvant PCV plus RT with temozolomide concurrent plus adjuvant PCV. So once the trial result comes, it is still recruiting, and the sample size is around 360. And it should finish recruiting by end of October 2025. So once their results is out, until that time we have to, the debate on which is better, PCV or temozolomide, will still go on, and we have to wait till then. So these are the brief reviews of different treatment modalities. And based on all these modalities, the European Association of Neuro-Oncology, that is EANO, has proposed their guideline of newly diagnosed low-grade glioma. It was published in Lancet 2017. Similarly, the American counterpart, that is the Central Nervous System of Cancer, that is National Comprehensive Cancer Network. They also publish their guideline, which gets updated every year. Current guideline is April, as recent as April 2020. So that National Comprehensive Cancer Network and the YANO guideline, both combined together, will be discussing the current mode of treatment in case of low-grade gliomas in view of the evidences that we have discussed earlier in the following section. Thank you.